right, good evening, everyone. The time is now 6 o'clock p.m., March 17th, 2022, and we are now ready to begin our regular board meeting. Members of the public who desire to address the board on any topic related to board work must sign in on the roster located to my right or left before 6:30 p.m. Norma, would you go ahead with our roll call, please?
Regina English.
Here.
J.J. Frazier.
Here.
Joyce Salazar.
Here.
Chloe Williams.
Here.
Michelle Wilsville.
Here.
Naija Ali.
Here.
Eliza Moya.
Here.
All right, we will first begin with our Pledge of Allegiance and reading of our mission from some of our students from Wildflower. Very nice, very nice. Item 3.1 to adopt our agenda, and I would just need a motion.
I move to adopt the agenda.
Second.
Motion by Ms. English, second by Ms. Frazier. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We now have a meeting. Sorry about that. I got to get used to that. All right, item 4, showcasing our schools. And we have with us today Wildflower Elementary with Principal Wendy Godwin and Assistant Principal Sarah Lemcule. The show is yours. It's a good year for us Georgians. Go Dogs and Braves. What a year for you to be leaving us.
Well, I'm Wendy Godwin, the principal. I'm Sarah Lemcule, the assistant principal. And so, hello everybody. Tonight we're going to give you a little bit about Wildflower. We went ahead, that was the kinder and first grade students that were doing the pledge. We did that at Bricker, then we ran over to Panorama, and then they did the mission statement. That was second through fifth. So we knew we couldn't bring them here, so we thought of a different one. You know, so if you want to give a certificate to the whole school, you can do that. You can do that. So we just have a few little facts about Wildflower. So what we did tonight, we are going to give you a tour of what is going on at Wildflower now. We, one of the architects or the construction people actually took us on a tour through the school so we could get some updates. Then we went to our second school, Bricker. Then we went to our third school, Panorama. So kind of giving you a little taste of it all. We had to cut and splice a little bit. We're gonna go, we're gonna do this in the video. Okay.
Okay, so a little bit about Wildflower. Recently, our free and reduced lunch rate has dropped to 53%. It's pretty common throughout the district, that decline. Demographics, our big shift is now we are about half Hispanic. Our ELL population has increased. Then everything else, blacks 14%, 25% for white, and then 2 or more races 9%. So some fun stuff about us. We have an AN program, and we have 10 fabulous AN students. I love our AN program. I love our AN students. And that's new to Wildflower. We have everything from kindergarten to 5th grade this year for our AN. We have after-school clubs and tutoring, and it's Tuesday through Thursday. And one thing that's really great about this is all of our staff, at some point, they are participating in after-school clubs and tutoring. So moving to Panorama this semester made it a little more difficult, but we kept tutoring for students at Bricker, and then we continued our clubs, and we found space for our clubs and the tutoring at the Panorama
So
site as well.
before we had to do the split, we had like 250 kids participate in the after schools and tutoring. So that was a great turnout.
As the data will show later, we're working on improving literacy practices. So this year we have the opportunity to bring in Debbie Hunsinger for that outside perspective to kind of give us some feedback on ways we can improve and what we could do different.
And this is a little bit small of a picture, it's kind of hard to see, but we have kind of stayed at kind of where we are lately. This is showing beginning of the year data and middle of the year data. We have a lot of students that are still in the blue. We would like to see a little bit, if you know a little bit about the colors, a little more yellow and green at this time and a little less red, but that is something that we're, always working on, always trying to improve to be better.
iReady scores, we use iReady for the diagnostics as well as the instruction. iReady is included with our math and our ELA blocks. Both in reading and in math, we're hovering about 65% of reaching the typical growth goal, and 63 in math and then 65 in literacy. So our students are on track to meet their typical growth goal. We do have one grade that we're really working on problem solving with. Debbie's helping us with that one.
And then as we were talking about earlier, we were so proud to have a huge tutoring group this year, and we have a huge STEM group this year. That was one addition to our clubs. We have a robotic club, but the STEM club has really become a huge addition, and that's he'll be in the competition. And you'll see a little bit later in the video, all of these clubs, they're just so great. Kids are just really participating. We're really proud of our ukulele club. And the background music that you're going to listen to will be our ukulele club.
Very unique, it's cute.
Very unique, but we had a lot of kids participating. So, in our Spanish club, that was new to us. We have, like we were talking about, a huge ELL population, and we have a lot of kids that just want to learn Spanish. So it turned out to be a really great club as well. And then, of course, we never forget our community partners. L3 Harris has been, I think they hit something, has been working with us for years. They're right down the street from Wildflower, and they have been a huge part in our robotics club. They're just a great company to work with. This year we added Castle Real Estate, and they were one of our biggest contributors for the Christmas Club and for all the things that you all were doing in the district, and then they helped Wildflower as well. And then I'll skip down to Ladyfingers. They were the club, or not the club, I mean, they were the business that really came through for us at the end, right there at the end when we needed like, what, $15,000 or something, and they, our counselor went out and found their partnership. They just turned out to be phenomenal, and I went back and visited to do some Christmas shopping, and they were just like, oh, Wildflower, Harris School District. They were so excited. So it was really great. And then one thing that Ms. Day Newman and her 4th grade teachers, they made dog toys for the Humane Society this year. So then they got to, we didn't actually get to take them, but we got to see them.
So one thing that great that Ms. Day Newman does is when she teaches her wisdom units, she implements a community project to go along with that unit for the kids. So that was the first unit of Love That Dog, and so that kind of led to this.
And the last one was what, Pennies for Soldiers. year we added Dunkin' Donuts. They turned out to be a huge favorite, huge favorite. So we were really glad to have those on board, and you know, it's funny how you make those different partnerships. It's like you know somebody that knows somebody, right? And so we added a new registrar to our team this year, Miss Susanna, and her son is the manager at Dunkin' Donuts. So here goes a partner. I said, community partner. So that really worked out well. And then, of course, our own celebrations this year. I'll let you talk about since you the Black History.
So once again, Ms. Dayman helped out, put together some fabulous activities for Black History Month. We had a group come in and kind of tell the story of the Buffalo Soldiers, and they brought some artifacts, and the kids really enjoyed that. We had some guest readers, they did research projects this past February, so that was great. Some other just community is really big. Our parents are huge. Carnival Night and Science Night are always our biggest community events. Science Night will be huge in May. You're welcome to come, but Carnival is probably
We had that at the beginning of the
Yeah.
year, and it was amazing. Turned out to be a beautiful weather day, so everybody came. It was really nice. So now our video. Had that out of sequence.
Hi, I'm Wendy Godwin, the principal at Wildflower.
And I'm Sarah Lumberton, the assistant.
We are so glad today to give you an update on the remodel at Wildflower Elementary. And we want to thank Larry for giving us a tour today. We appreciate that. And we are excited to go in and see. We just want to show this is the old office, soon to be the new office. And we want to thank Larry for giving us a tour. We're so excited to see what Wildflower ends up being. So now we've taken down the partitions, and now we have a real wall here and a real door.
Welcome to Bricker Elementary. This is where kindergarten and first grade is.
Card. Fire. Sound. Fire.
It's okay. Yeah, we know those are your babies.
My heart.
No, you're okay. You're all-
By the time we toured Wildflower, it was the same way. I was like, oh my God, I couldn't believe every little thing that they had already had done, and it was just gonna be so great, and I'm just so excited for everybody. If anybody knows me, I'm a crybaby.
I'm with you. It must be a Georgia thing, because I've cried like 4 times on this dais, and it is a mess.
I'm glad I got somebody here.
I relate. I do.
Because Sarah knows me all too well. By the end, you go, oh, I'm just crying. You got a hard hat on, and you're repairing. But anyway, it was very emotional, but it's good. It's happy tears. I'm just so excited for Wildflower and the building, and Larry was even telling us about all the landscaping they're doing. I was like, I wanted that for 15 years. So it just sounds so beautiful, and I'm still gonna be in the district for another year, so. And, I told the next principal, I said, I'm gonna be there at that opening. I am, I'm gonna be there at the grand opening, and I'm just so happy for our students and for, of course, for the district, but that is my heart, so that's it. Thank you.
Well, we definitely appreciate your service, Ms. Godwin. We clicked as soon as we met. It was the accent.
Like, it's gotta be from my area.
Right, got to be from the same place. Yeah. Miss Lemkuhl, thank you for your hard work. Miss Danielman, is that correct? Day Newman. Day Newman. I thought I heard that correct, but I must have been putting my southern drawl on it. So, thank you for all of your hard work as well. Having the Buffalo Soldiers come out. I have a good relationship with the Buffalo Soldiers. My grandfather has a saber from the Buffalo Soldiers hanging up on his wall in his home. And where's Larry? Larry got a lot of shout outs to not be here.
You want coffee, here's your hat, here's your vest,
And we should have brought a few of those ukulele players. I noticed, I was watching the video, like they're all on the same key and just strumming. They're on it. They're on
I
it.
think what's so neat to see is you see some of your students that are more challenged, that are in the club, you know, we know who they are. And they love it. They love it. So,
Very
thanks
nice.
to our music teacher.
Well, I don't expect any of the good to stop happening once you're gone, especially because you're going to get them right that one year that you're still
That's right.
looming around. Hey, no, that's not how Wildflower does it. So,
That's right.
but we definitely appreciate your service to this community and all of your hard work throughout the years. I truly mean that. Does anyone have anything else to add? No?
Mrs. Godwin, I look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks.
JJ. You told me to call you JJ.
Yes, I did.
We're gonna do our JJ walk.
All right, we will move along, excuse me, to item number 5, communicating with the public. Item 5.1, Education Champion Award winner, Dr. Pam Robinson. This year is the first year that CASB has sponsored a Black Caucus. And so the districts in the state who are represented by Black or African American descent board members nominated a educator in their community, and for Harrison, we nominated Dr. Robinson. So Dr. Robinson, if you would please come up here. Miss English, yeah, all the way up here, yeah. So Miss English is going to read the proclamation that was typed up and written for Dr. Robinson, and we will be presenting her award to her.
And so really quick, this is the first Black Caucus in the state of Colorado for school board directors. It's one of the largest ones. I'm honored to be the vice president of this caucus, and Just a short version of our mission is to center the needs around our African American students. And we are in collaboration and partnership with CASB to make sure that there's equity in education. And like President Williams said, this is the first year that we did our awards, and Dr. Robinson was given the Education Champion Award. So I'm going to read her proclamation. Caucus proclamation to recognize Dr. Pamela Robinson as an education champion. Whereas Dr. Pamela Robinson has been an educator for over 30 years, ensuring students have academic opportunities to have positive choices and options in life is her primary career goal. Pamela was raised by her grandparents in Bolton, North Carolina, and spent many summers in Connecticut with her parents. She graduated from Fayetteville State University, North Carolina, with a bachelor's degree in K-8 education with an emphasis in science and social studies. Pamela began her career in education as a teacher's aide, then became a 5th grade teacher for the Department of Defense schools in Osterholz, Germany, where her husband was stationed for 4 years. Whereas she began working for Harrison School District 2 as a substitute teacher. In 1993, Pamela accepted a teaching position at Otero Elementary, where she taught for 4 years. Under the leadership and encouragement of her principal at Otero, Dr. Lee Cope, Pamela completed a Master of Arts degree in Education Administration and Supervision. Next, she transferred to Strathmore Hills Elementary School in Harrison School District 2 and taught 5th grade for 7 years, later becoming the school's fourth principal. Whereas Pamela is currently the principal of Strathmore Hills Elementary School, serving in that role for 17 years. During her leadership, Strathmore Hills, yes. During her leadership, Strathmore Hills Elementary received 2 Centers of Excellence Awards from the Colorado Department of Education for outstanding academic growth and received to support student achievement. In addition, Pamela served 3 years on the Read to Achieve State Board for the Colorado Department of Education. Pamela is a proponent of distributed leadership and enjoys supporting and providing growth opportunities for teachers. She is extremely proud of the teachers who now have positions at the district level who once worked at Strathmore Hills Elementary under her principalship. Whereas Pamela received her PhD in higher education leadership. She will be retiring at the end of the 2021-2022 school year and feels fortunate and blessed to continue to support the Harrison community as she transitions to working with the students and staff in the district's College Career Readiness Department. Now therefore, be it proclaimed, the Colorado Black Caucus of School Board Directors hereby award the 2022 Education Champion Award to Dr. Pamela Robinson of Colorado Springs, Colorado. Tay Anderson, President; Regina English, Vice President; Michelle Quattlebaum, Secretary; Corey Williams, J.J. Frazier, Michelle Wills Hills, Harrison School District 2; Dr. Margaret Wright, Pueblo School District 60; Michael Carter, Stephanie Mason, Aurora Public Schools; Janice McDonald, Cherry Creek Public Schools; Miosha Brooks, St. Vrain Valley School District; Will Jones, Mesa County School District. So on behalf of the Colorado Black Caucus for School Board Directors, we thank you for your service, Dr. Robinson. Thank you for all that you do. We appreciate you.
Getting a picture?
Give them a little time to get settled. That's not a door. She's about to walk into a closet. Big family, big family. All right. Moving right along to item 5.2, public comment. Members of the public who desire to address the board on any topic related to board work are welcome to do so at this time. Speakers are requested to limit their remarks to not more than 3 minutes. We have a timer for that. To appoint a spokesperson if the concern is a group concern, and to supplement verbal presentations with written reports, if necessary or desired. Personal attacks will not be allowed. Please refrain from using anyone's proper pronoun or names. Although the board does not respond to any public comment, we will review the information presented and provide responses as needed. I have here a J. Armendariz Unsueta?
Yeah, Sueta, yes.
Yes, ma'am. And I see your topic here. I'll reiterate, please keep it to board work and no personal attacks, please.
Yes, do you consider board member conduct part of board work?
Yes, ma'am, that is true.
That is what this is regarding. So my name is Jacqueline Gonzalez, and I'm an HD2 resident. I live at 2002 Legacy Bridgeview. It is with a heavy heart that I provide public comment tonight. I am compelled to address the documented abusive conduct of board member Regina
Well,
English
I-
on public record.
I have to stop you right there, ma'am, because you cannot use any names. I'm so sorry. I have to ask you to step away from the podium now.
Sure.
I'm so sorry. Moving on to item number 6, communicating with the board, we have our student board reps, Ms. Naaja Ali and Ms. Eliza Moya. It's been quite some time since we've had a presentation from our student board reps. Let's see if that'll load for us. There we go. Very nice.
Do we have to stand up?
No, no, you don't have to stand. You're all right.
Wait, is this on? Is this on for me?
Just make sure their mics are good. Yeah.
Okay, so this is our presentation, which is bringing community to the district. And we talked a little bit about this during the work session, but it's basically some points that we're bringing from the conference that we went to, and also some things that we wanted to communicate about. Yeah, I knew that. So representation, and what does that look like? So for us, representation can be simply students seeing admin, teachers, and community members that look like them, and so they don't feel ostracized and they feel like there's people who understand them. But it doesn't just limit down to color or race. It also includes people who share a certain background or have the same or are similar communities. And so this makes children and students of all ages feel like they can go up to them and talk to them and receive help because that other person understands their frustrations. This includes shared experiences, whether that influence had some issues dealing with mental health that I can talk about students too who are dealing with that, or if they have the same ethnicity, gender, same neighborhood, or been in the same situations. And this just influences kids to be more open with them and share their own experiences. And this is very necessary because this positive influence can help kids open up and learn how to communicate with others. And I think it's very beneficial for them to know that there's somebody out there that cares about them and is speaking out and advocating for them. So some ways that we can have this within our district is possibly by considering making more openings for jobs that specialize in diversity. I know that counseling could be a big one because from what I've seen, we had this counselor that was substituting for another, and when she came in, there was more students who came and talked to her as a black woman because they felt they can actually be open with her. And those students were students who never really came to the counselor's office. And so it was very eye-opening to see and witness. And I say we should also care and keep teachers who have a good relationship with students. Of course, teachers who also are good at their job, not just people who only represent students in certain ways, but also is really good at teaching. And we should show them that we do consider them, we do appreciate them, because those are the teachers that are making school more worthwhile to students. And just to encourage the other teachers to be more interactive and not just giving schoolwork, but also creating relationships with students, asking them how their day was, or being someone that students can go up to if they need anything. I also feel like mentors would be very good, including public speakers as well, because if they make presentations about things that they have been through and students see that, then they feel more understood. And I think if we have more mentors around the school, then students can have a ongoing relationship with a person, because it's very important for that person to stay consistent in their learning. It's better when, for example, a teacher stays with students from freshman year to their sophomore year because they actually build a relationship and a trust, whereas if we had teachers coming in and out, then students become more isolated to themselves and not willing to share their own experiences. Next, I was going to talk about district unity and how we are more than just one school. So unity is vital for school because we're building future community members, and by being inclusive, we can help them become positive influences in society. And so specifically in our district, we have sister schools like Harrison and Sierra, and we talk to the other students that were on the student panel, so not just me and Eliza. And we think it's very important to have events that hold both of the district sister schools. And for example, we recently had one that was PantherCon, and so it was held at Harrison, but it was also promoted at Sierra, and a Sierra teacher of the leader of the anime club also helped with that. And so it was a really fun event that was held on Saturday that everybody can go and attend and dress up. And I think that's really good because although we may have rivalry when it comes to games and stuff, we can still be really cool with each other. I know a lot of people at Harrison I get along with, and I would like to see them more. And I feel like if school brought us together, that's more, it makes it more available, whereas I can't really see everybody on my own time all the time. And so we also thought we can stem this out to more than just our sister schools, so the entire district. Something that we thought about was having district held assemblies, and this is where every district, including the charter schools come together, we can have like games or presentations, venues, and other stuff like that. And I think that teaches students how to network with each other and how to talk to other people and not just get too comfortable with their own cohort. I know with me being in dual enrollment, I'm with the same group of students I have been since freshman year. So I feel like if we stemmed out to more district stuff or just other schools in general, we can have better skills in like communicating with other people that we're not always around. The last thing I wanted to mention was having merchandise. So we already have merchandise, but it's like kind of hard for students to find. At least everyone that I know doesn't know where you can get merchandise. So when we have like Spirit Weeks that say, oh, wear Sierra gear or something like that, they don't have any, so they don't wear anything. And I think if we had a store that was in the school or some type of place where students can buy it in person, it would make them actually do that. I know a lot of people who would actually buy it. And I think this is great for when we have games or we're traveling somewhere for a game or just around the community so we can represent where we are, what school we attend. And this doesn't just limit to having specific schools. We can have like more districts merchandise too, so shirts or hoodies that say Harrison District 2 and stuff like that. So we all know that we're all in the same district and we should have this union together even if we go to separate schools. And yeah, also to touch on the district held assemblies, I forgot to mention that it would be like elementary school, middle school, high school. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, Ms. Moya.
Hello, I'm Eliza Moya. I'm talking about student attendance and student-teacher relations. So, I go to Harrison, and right now we have a 10-minute late policy. So, if it's not self-explanatory, if a student is more than 10 minutes late, they're marked absent. And we have an hour-and-a-half long classes. So if I'm there for an hour and 20 minutes, but I'm 10 minutes late, you're marked absent. And if students have parents like mine, they're gonna get mad when they get calls, because they think their student is skipping, but we're not. I'm in class. So we also have this policy now. It got implemented on Monday. So if you're 10 minutes and 30 seconds late, you have to go to the auditorium to get a pass. There's at least 50 kids there. So instead of being 10 minutes and 30 seconds late now, you're 15 minutes late because you have to wait for all that long line to die down. But if it's your second time being late, you have to call your parents, and then you have to stay in the auditorium for the rest of the day and do online school. I don't think that's a good solution. Hear me out. Instead of being 10 minutes and 30 seconds late to a class, you're going to have the students be 15 minutes late to class, just getting a pass, and they're still marked absent. And from a student's mind, if you're already marked absent, what's the point of going to class? If I'm going to be absent, let me be absent. So, if you're not in class or you miss most of the class, you should be absent. If you're late to class, you should get the tardy. I just had to say that. Okay, next slide. Okay, so student-teacher relations. I found this quote, and it says, "It's the teachers that make that makes the difference, not the classroom." And kind of echoing what Naiza said earlier, if we have those teachers that stay longer and we build those connections, it just, how do I put this? I don't want to get teary-eyed like last time. Teachers mean a lot to students inside and outside the classrooms. And when teachers are going in and out, it's kind of hard to build those connections. But when you do build those connections, you can have those conversations that humanize and, yes, you are my teacher, but you're a human. You go through the same problems I go through. And when some students, they don't have that at home. So those teachers, step in and they have those real life conversations. And when teachers have those real life conversations, we can see that there's less teen pregnancies, there's a higher graduation rate, that just helps the community in general, the entire students, because those teachers are staying. But the problem is not enough teachers are staying. Next slide. So, how do we support our teachers? I talk to a lot of teachers and a lot of students too, because there's a good amount of freshmen this year that connected with so many teachers. Those teachers aren't coming back. And that's just, oh, well, if they're not coming back, I'm just going to transfer, or I'll just do online, because they don't have that connection with anyone, and it's hard to build those connections. So I talked to teachers and I asked, how would you suggest the school helps, or how would you suggest students help? Because as we've seen, COVID happened and lots of teachers lost motivation, and it's not the same teaching style that they're used to, and that's hard on students and teachers. I can't imagine how it was like teaching just to a blank screen, because I'm going to be honest, I was asleep half of the time. And I don't know how those teachers felt knowing that we were asleep. So we went to our conference and we talked to the teacher of the year for Colorado, and the question she asked was, do you trust your students with what you're teaching them? That one stood out to Naija and I because, you know, like how do us students help support our teachers also? So I talked to the teachers, and one thing they told me was to suspend teacher evaluations for a year, and to also have a teacher voice on the board like there's a student voice on the board, like how Naija and I are right now. Because we're here for the students. We can only speak for the students. But there's lots of teachers that wanted to say something. So if there was a teacher on the board, teacher voice on the board, I think that would be beneficiary to all the schools. Dan. You're welcome.
I can jump in before the board comments, but right after spring break, Mrs. Loffer and I are meeting at Harrison the first week and the Sierra the second week to actually talk to our student groups about the 10-minute rule.
Yes.
No questions for you guys, just to state how proud I am of your growth this year. Eliza will be graduating this spring and is accepted to Stanford, but we're weighing our options, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, right. And then we're waiting to hear back from Northwestern and Columbia on the other side, on the Sierra side. So we have a lot of great things happening right now with our student board reps, and we're very excited and proud of them. So. Those are all my comments for them. If anyone else has something.
Well, I just want to say how proud I am of you, Eliza, and you, Naija. Student voice is very important on the board, and it's necessary that student voice is amplified. And I have watched them grow over this year that they've been serving, and it's a great thing. So continue to amplify your voice and speak your truth, and we just appreciate having you on the board. So thank you.
You know, it's really important that we get so caught up in our adult world that we really forget about who we were really here to serve in the first place, and that their voice matters. And so one of the things that I was very concerned about is even before I came on the board, that I observed that they were just sitting there and not saying anything during the board meetings. And so I'm ecstatic to finally have space for them to talk. And I think that it's important to make sure that they always have a place at the table. It's my understanding that perhaps we're unique in the fact that we do have student representatives on our board. That's not commonplace for other school boards in the state of Colorado. So I'm just happy to embrace the fact that this is where we are. So thank you for what you're doing. Your voice matters. It's very important. And I commend and applaud you for what you're doing. You're outstanding.
I just want to say I've seen you all speak and present here in this format and also at our conferences. These young ladies knock it out the park. I mean, they participate in the discussions, and a lot of the students statewide, they look to them for their voice because they don't mind speaking up. They don't mind sharing. So thank you. You all are wonderful representatives for the students in this state. Thank you.
So I'd just like to say that I have appreciated listening to your comments and your concerns, and both of you are really super duper bold to say some of the things that you say in the conversations with our leadership of the district, even to Dr. Bransel. But what impresses me the most is that the students see you guys as their voice. And so thank you for representing well. Thank you for helping to cultivate the desire for other students to want to be a part of the board, because really it's the voice of not only community, but student voice that is so important for you to let us know what you need. And I totally appreciate you looking at that 10-minute rule, because I have been behind the buses too.
All right, we will move right along to item number 7, board consent agenda. And just so everyone knows, we have done the work, the extensive work on these things. It is not just a flyby or a rubber stamp. This is work that we've put in for the past 2 months, because we had a few snow days last month. So item 7.1, approval of combined work session and meeting minutes, February 17th, 2022. Item 7.2, OE10, communicating with the public, monitoring report on March 17th, 2022. 7.3, OE9, communications with the board, indicator report, March 17th, 2022. And I would just need a motion for 7.4.
I move to approve the board consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Wills Hill, second by Mrs. English. All of those in favor?
Aye.
All right. And moving on to item number 8, superintendent consent agenda. Again, these things have already been reviewed and the work has been done. Item 8.1, March personnel and comparison report. Item 8.2, January 2022 financial report. And for 8.3, I would just need a motion.
Mr. President, I move to approve the board consent agenda.
I second.
Motion by Mrs. Frazier, second by Mrs. Wills Hill. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. And moving right along, item number 9, monitoring board performance. 9.1, annual work plan. Do we have any changes to our work plan other than the changing for the interviews for our new student board rep coming from Harrison? No other changes. Moving along to 9.2, legislative updates.
So we're still waiting for the state to finalize what the funding's gonna look like. It was good news, they were gonna buy down the negative factor, then they got nervous about their budget, so it doesn't look as good of news. You will see that in CDMT, we came forth with what raises we can offer, super excited about that. First district in the region to be able to put that out. A lot of people wait to see what the state is giving them, but we are gonna take care of our people regardless. The other big bill you'll see is early childhood, free preschool for all, universal preschool for all. And what does that look like for funding? So right now we use CPCD. Would that allow us to run our own preschool in Harrison and control it more? We know that our students come to kindergarten behind. So if we can get them even earlier and own that, we will have a huge up in the game. And so we're really excited about exploring what that could look like for our students here in Harrison. There's a ton of legislation for education that's being shot down, thank goodness, because our teachers and administrators do not need one more requirement.
Thank you, Dr. Brahansel. And the final item, item number 10, to adjourn, and I would just need a motion.
I move to adjourn the Board of Education board meeting.
I second.
Motion by Mrs. English, second by Mrs. Salazar. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. Everyone be safe on your way home. That weather is looking a little tricky out there.